Welcome to the Write, Publish, Market podcast. If you're a business owner thinking a book would be a great marketing asset for your business, you're in the right place. Maybe you've already committed, even better. I'm your host, Jodi Brandon, book publishing strategist and partner for business owners, CEOs, and entrepreneurs, and 20 plus year veteran of the book publishing industry. On the Write, Publish, Market podcast, in addition to learning from me and other industry experts, you'll hear from other business owners about their experiences as we explore all facets of writing, publishing, and marketing a book that will help your business grow in ways you might not even be dreaming of yet. I'm so glad you're here. Let's dive in. Today, we are welcoming AnnMarie Rose to the podcast. She is a life-proof business scaling strategist with nearly a decade of experience helping coaches, consultants, and service providers leverage their zone of genius to scale their businesses with clarity, confidence, and strategic intention. AnnMarie and her team have helped hundreds of business owners navigate growth mode with ease by aligning their business model to their vision, refining their offer suite and positioning, streamlining their marketing and sales systems, and dialing in an A-player team so they can elevate their impact and income without overwhelm, chaos, or burnout. Sign me up. Welcome, AnnMarie. I'm happy to have you here today.
I'm so excited to be here, Jodi. Thanks so much for having me.
We are talking scaling like more, I think, generally bigger picture, but then like really scaling is such a big thing. And I saw you post on Threads. I actually wrote it down on my notes after I had like sort of drafted our conversation here, how I wanted it to go. And you posted, scaling is not about doing more. Mm-hmm. And I was like, hallelujah. Yeah, that's our starting point.
Beautiful.
Let me just move that to the top of my list of things we're going to talk about. So I feel like I agree with that. It's not about doing more. It's about doing something well. But if you could expand on that, I would love it.
Yeah. So I like to say that scaling is not about doing more. It's about restructuring your business or refining your business so that your business can do more for you without you having to be so involved with every single touch point. And I mean, for your listeners who are interested in writing books or they have written books, a book starts to do some of that for you, right? Because it's your thought leadership codified in a format that can be disseminated at scale without you having to be verbally delivering it, standing on a stage, writing more and more and more blogs. That's a component.
Yeah, I love that. I love too that you said the word refining, because I feel like that's where a lot of people get tripped up there, right? They're thinking, oh, it has to be this big, massive thing. And a lot of times, like you're saying, you already have like the content, the idea, the shape, the shell, the whatever. It's just about getting it into the sort of the right package.
100%. The most common thing that I hear, and this is a good way to know if you are ready to scale, or perhaps you even have some scalability built into your business, like you've written a book, you have a group program, but you're still stretched pretty thin. The most common thing I hear from people who are ready to scale is, should I burn my business to the ground? I kind of want to burn my business to the ground. And that is one of the biggest indicators for me. I mean, there are instances when it is time to make a complete 180 pivot. More often than not, what I find is it is time to refine. You're doing the more. And what we tell ourselves, because so much of what our subconscious knows is based on our past experiences. So if we think, I know I'm here meant to make more money, impact more people, but those words more, all my subconscious knows is doing more of what I'm currently doing.
Yeah.
And that's not it at all. It's doing things differently. So then of course your answer is going to be just burn it to the ground. And I guess I'll build something that's a little easier, or I'll go get a job or whatever. Yeah. It's usually just, we need to get in there, look at what's working, because even when it feels like there's not like everything stretching you thin, there are things that are working, and that gives us clues as to what should be refined. And then we strip away a whole lot of the things that aren't working or that are really draining you.
Absolutely. Well, and trust that data too, right? Like don't just go, especially when you're feeling burned out, like don't just go on the way you feel, because you already feel crappy. So like now you're going to end up most likely, I think, doing more damage than you would have otherwise. So
absolutely. Yeah. Sometimes we don't make the best decisions from that place, which is why it's helpful to have another set of eyes, or a coach, or mastermind, or peer mastermind, whatever it is, that can see what you can't in that moment.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, let's shift gears a little bit and talk about your bread and butter is paid workshops. So let's talk about that a little bit. And then we'll kind of bring books back into it, how we're using them with a paid workshop. But for those who are not using them or don't understand how they should be using them, give us the 411.
Yeah. So I talk about paid workshops as my welcome mat topic. And I think this is really relevant to the book conversation, that it's a window into my world, because we kind of kicked off with the thing that is I consider to be my true bread and butter, which is that big picture scaling. Yeah. And then I see paid workshops as my welcome mat topic, which is a tangible, very solution-based thing that solves a real problem that I know my ideal client has, which is being able to sell more in less time and do it in a way that's extremely cost-effective, extremely time-effective, and moves people to that yes moment much faster than your traditional, social media content might. And a book on your welcome mat topic is also a really great idea. So the way I use workshops in my business are to sell at scale. So kind of replacing sales calls, but I don't treat them like your traditional webinar format, which is basically the whole thing is really designed around pitching. And the way that workshops function differently is they do provide a real tangible quick win for people. You're getting something done in that workshop setting. And then there is a pitch moment that happens in the way that I teach it anyways, but it's a small window of that experience. And really the wins that people are accomplishing through the rest of the workshop experience are preparing them perfectly to say yes to that pitch without needing the bazillions of success stories and the long 30-minute build up about your story and your credibility and all the things. We can pretty much bypass all of that, do a couple of little stories here and there, but the pitch can be a very, very small moment of the experience. And then I charge for them because, again, they're getting a quick win out of it. And so what you do is you attract people who are already invested. And so they're going to be, one, they're going to show up, because that's really important, is showing up. Now, I do have a lot of people who catch the replay and then end up purchasing whatever I'm selling on the back end, but show up rates are much, much higher than when you offer something for free.
Sure.
And then conversion rates on the back end, because one, they've already paid, two, they're more likely to show up live, and three, they're getting a quick win, which builds massive trust with you in a short period of time. They're much, much more likely to buy into whatever else you are selling on the back end of that workshop.
Okay, I love that. And what are you selling on the back end of your workshop? A group program?
So I have a couple of different workshops that I use in my business. And the thing that I love is you can rinse and repeat this, right? Okay. I have sold my workshop replays on Evergreen before. I love doing the live experience, but I have a couple of different ones. One of my signature workshops is called the Workshop Workshop. And on the back end of that, I sell my program, Sell and Scale with Workshops, which is, it's very curriculum driven. It takes you step by step through putting this entire strategy in place for yourself, from the deciding what your topic should be, what you should sell on the back end, the promotion, the delivery of it, and the sales on the back end of it. Every single piece buttoned up with templates and all the things. And then there's support included as well. So it's kind of a course group program hybrid, if you will.
Gotcha. Love that. I feel like, there's so many ways a book makes sense with, you could, as you're talking, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, the book is a downsell. The book is, like a tripwire.
An order bump to the if you're selling a $47 workshop, add the book on for, I don't know, $19, whatever it is.
Absolutely. Yes. Sales multipliers, like endless options by your imagination only, right? I feel like it's another way too of, I talk a lot about, your book needs to fit into your business ecosystem. Like, don't just have like this random book over here that has nothing to do with your business, because it's a lot of work to write a book. So this is a good way to, figure out, how does it fit into your system? Where does it fit in the funnel? Is it a top of funnel? Is it, an order bump? Like we're saying, all these different options, and you can, it's sort of like, choose your own adventure.
And the beautiful thing is, and with every business model, I'm learning this now because I've just started running paid ads for the first time in several years, that sometimes it's just like all the puzzle pieces can work. It's just about figuring out how to arrange them in a way that works for you and your audience. Yeah. So there might be some business models and audiences where having a book that you really heavily promote the book. And then you say, when someone goes to purchase your book, you say, by the way, do you want to get, come to this workshop? And again, it's nice, especially if you're pairing it with a book, you can run a workshop live once, and then you can sell the replay on Evergreen. You could have this as part of a nice, streamlined, really great, almost low ticket offer entry point into your world, or people purchase the book, then you get them the workshop and they get to really experience your energy. Like, what a beautiful way to call someone into your world.
Yeah. You know what? I never even I don't know why I'm saying this out loud. It's going to make me sound like an idiot, but I never even realized that's what I do. I have a repurposing your content I don't call it a workshop. Probably that's why I never made the connection till literally right this second.
Yeah.
But like it's a training that I sell, like bundle with my book on my website. So then it takes your $10 book plus your, $40, $50 training to a $50 or $60 sale. And so like,
bingo.
duh.
And those are highly, highly qualified leads to then work with you in a deeper way.
Right. Absolutely.
Way more than if someone just registers for, say, a free training, and then they may or may not show up. It's going to, potentially get lost in their inbox. And then they, maybe in and out if they do show up live, like just the potential is so much, the investment on the front end is so much bigger when you do it this way.
Absolutely. But then, like you were saying, the puzzle pieces, it helps people put the puzzle pieces together when you're thinking of your audience that way. Like my book is more of an overview, and then the training is on one particular way to get you the win.
Yeah.
To then take your next step. So
I love
it. Me like doing what I should be doing.
Well, look. And I love that. Don't you love when you listen to a podcast we both been in business for a long time. So I personally love if I listen to a podcast or talk and I'm like, I'm already doing that. Check. Like it feels really nice. And it's one less thing, especially if it's I'm not going to add every strategy to my to-do list, but if it's a strategy I'm really interested in, I'm like, cool, I'm already doing it. I don't really need to. And, maybe I heard this one thing that's a small tweak rather than, starting from scratch. And the one thing you and I kind of chatted about when we were discussing us chatting was that this could be a great way for people to test out book ideas as well without having to commit to write the full book. See if people are interested in the book topic first by running a paid workshop on it.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll see what if there's interest in that topic, but then also what kind of questions does it bring up from people to see like what direction the book should take? Because obviously writing a book it's a big commitment in your business. And that's why not everybody does it. And I totally get that.
Yeah.
But knowing what kind of book you want to write too, I was just talking about this morning, actually, with a client. Like she was deciding, does she want to write an overview type book like I have, or does she want to do like a deep dive into one piece of it? And there's no right or wrong there, but she's got, like you're saying, look at all those different pieces she has. How does the puzzle get put together in the best way possible?
Exactly. So it is kind of that decision. Like, do you want to write it on your welcome mat topic? So for me, that'd be like writing a book on paid workshops, or do you want to write it on that bigger picture thing that, maybe isn't as sticky, or it's the larger thought leadership that you want to be known for. And books are actually a great format for doing that and being known for that. Workshops, I find it's better to be more specific with the subject matter that you're covering, because you want people to get the quick win. It's hard to get a quick win, if you're teaching a really big picture framework that gives them some nice ideas, Sure. Hey there, business owner, an aspiring or published author. Sorry to interrupt this episode. Just wanted to check in and see if you're subscribed to Coffee and Commas, my email newsletter, where I share behind the scenes, industry info, and much more about writing, publishing, and marketing a book for your business. Sign up at bit.ly/coffee and commas sign up. That's all lowercase. Now back to the show. What do you think is the best way? If my book is about this, I want to do a paid workshop. Mm-hmm. I've got these 4 ideas. How do I sort of figure out what's the best way to move forward? Look at your ideal client and what problems are top of mind for them and the way that they're speaking to themselves about those problems. So I have a toolkit that I'm happy to give you a link and give your listeners like a discount code for. So I have a toolkit that actually helps you use I use ChatGPT, but whatever AI tool you prefer to really nail down your perfect fit topic idea. But where I really say, just kind of, if you want to do this all manually, it's what's your audience? What is the top of mind problem for your audience that they know they have right now? That's going to be your best workshop topic. Love that. Okay. And how often is this a set it and forget it? Or is this how often are we refining, tweaking, et cetera? Or is it, it's probably topic dependent. So I personally, in terms of the process, I make little tweaks every time I do one. Every time I do a workshop, I'll make a little tweak here, a little tweak there, to whatever it may be. Like I've done it where I pitch directly and I've mostly pitched directly into a very specific offer. There's some type of incentive. For example, I ran one in January where I just pitched, hey, get on a call with me, because I had a couple of different things that knew could work for that topic. And so I didn't want to worry about having a super specific pitch. So that's just one example of I tweak and play with things. And, I cover all kind of how to do that in my program, sell at scale with workshops. But in terms of just like, okay, I'm going to host this workshop on this particular topic. How soon could I run it again? What can you do with that? So I typically will run, depending on your audience size, you could get away with running the same workshop topic 4 times a year, I would say, live. I will typically, now, one thing I will caution people is you will start to feel like I'm being repetitive. I'm saying the same thing. But if you are in consistent audience growth mode, there are going to be new people in your space who want that topic or people who couldn't attend last time. Because the thing with live workshops is you will see lower signups than you would with a free training, but you're going to see a higher show up rate and higher conversion rate. So you actually end up, I've talked at length about this, both on my Instagram and my email list. You will end up seeing higher sales regardless, even if you have 20% of the number of signups than you would if it was free.
Yeah.
So all that to say, there are going to be people who I'm kind of one of those who I'm not a huge replay watcher. So I'm usually going to take it as my sign to show up if that space on my calendar happens to be free. There are a lot of people like that. So just because you run one in March doesn't mean you shouldn't run it again in June, because there are going to be people who couldn't attend in March or it wasn't the right time for that topic. And all of a sudden it hits them in June. Yeah. So you could rinse, repeat, refine. You could also, if you feel like you nailed it, or even, we're all our harshest critics. So even if there's just, a few little things you might've tweaked, you can take that, get the replay up, and then say, hey, the replay is available for X amount. Now I always give my people who sign up to attend live, they always get the replay access included, but you can then sell it again.
Okay. What are your thoughts on live versus like recorded? Just an evergreen, but not like live versus replay necessarily, but just, Yeah.
You're going to have more engagement live. You just are, just like anything. My last workshop that I hosted, I had the most I've ever had purchased at the full price of the workshop. It was $97, and email me and say, hey, I can't make it live, but I really want this topic. So I'm going to pay for the replay. So there are people who are just going to want to, they're okay with just getting the replay or getting the recorded version of it. So you could absolutely sell it on evergreen. You just are going to have more engagement, more of those fast, immediate sales. So especially if you're selling something higher ticket and you want to offer like an incentive, just for people who had attended the workshop, you're going to get a bonus one-to-one call or a fast action discount or whatever. It gives you that opportunity to generate those sales. Yeah.
Love that. Okay. What else? What should I have asked you that I did not ask you that I don't even know to ask you?
This is always the toughest question for me to answer. And because I feel like I throw in these things, like, as I'm just
You
talking.
Probably did. I feel like I already have.
Yeah.
Go back and listen to this, Jodi. You can take some notes.
Yeah. Like, should we use it to test a workshop topic? Yes, we should. People are probably going to be wondering, what's a typical price point for a paid workshop?
Okay.
Like, that's a common question that I get. I mean, I have it's basically a quiz. I call it the workshop game plan generator tool, and that's completely free. I'll give you the link to that as well. So if people want to go through, you just answer like 10 questions, and then it basically gives you a recommended workshop format. So that includes like the ideal length given your goals, your audience, all the things, and then some little pricing recommendations, promotion recommendations, things like that. But what I will say is like a blanket, I've worked with dozens and dozens, probably over 100. I mean, I've definitely had well over 300 go through my passive stuff related to workshops, but I've probably directly worked with over 100 people on paid workshops now. The price points that tend to work best are anywhere from, and this is a big range, $27 to $297. I have had some people in more of hobby niches, like who do teach language learning or gardening, who've gone a little lower than that. And it's been good. I will tell you from my audience, which is business owners, I ran a flash sale for one of my workshops like a month in advance last summer for $9. Typically, mine are at least $27. More often than not, lately, I've been doing $97. And no one who paid $9 showed up live. So I was like, okay, that's not a good price point for my people to like really incentivize them to show up. So I have not done that again. And now, my last workshop was $97. I've had people in the finance space, career space do $297 and have great success. Okay. One of my clients, she's running a workshop today. Last I checked, she had 23 signups with, a small but mighty audience. And I think her price point was $47. Okay. And that's a nice thing too. Like, I mean, if my math's correct, did about like $1,000 just to show up and do the thing, and then selling a thing on the back end. So it's like, I've had clients do $4,000 in just the front end selling the workshop.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, all the more reason too, to know your audience, right? To know what that price point is where that's going to get them engaged and then show up live and
exactly.
Yeah.
And you could do early bird. I play around with that too. It's like early bird 27, or I'll have some like guest codes that I'll hand out to people who I'm like, I really would love for them to be there. Let me just send you a code for $27 or whatever.
Okay.
So you can do that as well and play around with
Love
things.
It. Oh my gosh. This was so good. So there's so much good information. Even though I had my little light bulb moment that I'm already doing this, I have a gazillion new ideas just from talking to you. Like,
yes,
this is fantastic.
The options are endless. And I love that it is a lighter lift thing than, hosting a full scale launch or, testing out a bunch of ads. You don't have to put a ton in to just test some things out and see what works. Yes. And the best mindset you can have going in is just like, we're going to do this as a test. Here's our intention. And then we're going to refine and get this working. Like it really is a full sales system that can work on rinse and repeat. Yeah. You just have to be committed to like doing a little bit of refinement as you go.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, and we should be doing that anyway in our businesses with everything, right? I mean, that shouldn't be, if you're balking at that, then bad news.
Right. Right.
That was, Yeah.
The world,
good advice.
Everything in the world requires refinement.
Absolutely. I don't let anyone leave the podcast without giving me a book recommendation, AnnMarie. And you do get a pass though, if you're not reading right now, because I know you have another little one on the way. So I get that maybe.
I mean, we read a lot of board books in this house. But I will say this is kind of a lame recommendation. It's not lame, but it's like I'm behind on, I'm sure probably a lot of your listeners have either already read it or whatever. But The Light We Carry, Michelle Obama, it's so good on audiobook. I'll just play it like when I'm in the car, now I have a 2.5-year-old who's very chatty. So he is, if I'm in the car with him, he likes to be chatting more than listening to audiobooks and things. So I get, sparse moments to listen in on that. And then I will tell you, I was such a reader for so long, and picking up an actual physical book and doing the reading has been much less.
It just falls by the wayside. My sister, when she had 2 little ones, was the same way, and they're 10 and 8 now, and she's back at it. So I mean, we do a
lot of Little Blue Truck and Brown Bear, and the one my son now he's like, I want to read it now. He can't actually read, but he
has it memorized, I bet. Brown Bear, what do you see?
Yes. That was my favorite book when I was his age too. Cause like the colors of it all stuff. So
that's a good one.
Fine literature happening in this.
Listen, hey, that's the stage you're in, right? Yeah. That is what it is. I loved Michelle Obama's book. I have heard that the audiobook is fantastic. I didn't listen to the audiobook. I read the physical book, but that's a good reread.
Yeah,
pop the audiobook in.
There's just little nuggets in there too. I love a book like that where it's like, I always say like, I'm most passionate about passionate people. So I just love to hear people's stories. And then if there's like a little nugget I can take away where it's like, oh yeah, planning a girls trip, like, I'm not so much in the season of my life where taking a week-long vacation with girlfriends is like super on the table, especially this year in particular. I was going to do that, but next year it will be. But like those kind of things, like, okay, yeah, that's something I really want to like work more into my life. Just little things like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and even on a reread, like you're still like picking new things up. I love that. Yeah. Okay. Where's the best place for listeners to connect with you?
So I most frequently hang out over on Instagram or Threads, either one. Okay. I'm at Ask AnnMarie Rose on both places. My website is, we have a mutual connection. We were just chatting about the updates that are TBD on my website. So you can go there. It is semi under construction at the moment.
Progress, always.
But Instagram, Threads, I hang out both those places, and I'll send you links for the things.
Yeah, we'll put all that good stuff in the show notes. And if you're not on listeners, if you're not on AnnMarie's email list, get on AnnMarie's email list. You are... Not everybody is doing a great job with email marketing these days, in my opinion, but you are an exception to the rule. Like,
I really appreciate that, because for years, like sitting down to write an email felt like this heavy lift, and it's so fun for me now. I'm like, I want to like record a little private podcast for my email, my inbox spam.
I feel like you can tell that your emails are not just like, oh, I am writing this to cross it off the list and get it scheduled and kit and be on with my day. No, like you will learn from every single email, learn something. So yeah.
Even if it's learning by example, that's what.
Yeah.
Look, I'm an oldest sister at heart. So that's oldest daughter. Yeah. Oldest daughter at heart. So that's, I'm like, if someone can just learn from how I even structure this or whatever, it's a win.
Absolutely. Oh, I love it. Yeah, we'll include all the good stuff in the show notes. Thank you so much. This was such a fun discussion. I learned a ton myself, so I hope the listeners did too.
Yes, this was so much fun. I'm so glad to be here and can't wait to hear what your listeners think.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Write, Publish, Market podcast. I know just how busy business owners and CEOs' schedules are, and I'm grateful you've taken some time out of yours to spend with me today. If you enjoyed this episode, take a quick screenshot and share it on social to let others know you're listening. Use the hashtag WritePublishMarket to spread the love.